This week's best MMA bets, we have UFC Vegas 42, Holloway versus Rodriguez, and Bellator 271, Cyborg versus Kavanaugh. We're going to talk about both cards. We'll do the full betting breakdown for each of them. Locks of the night, dogs of the night, some value bets, and of course, the cross parlay at the end. Smash that like button, guys. Let's get at least 105 likes on this week's best MMA bets. If you're new to the channel, subscribe, turn those post notifications on. Appreciate everybody for tuning into the show. And let's get into some UFC locks of the night. Now, the first lock of the night for the UFC, I think might be the most self-explanatory one. It's Max Holloway. It's not a beautiful fight to bet. He's a minus 624 favorite. Yair plus 506. We'll check out some props. I do think Holloway gets it done inside the distance here. Let's see if Holloway KO TKO value is still there. It's plus 205 for a Holloway KO TKO. That's over at Sportsbet and Pinnacle. So, I mean, you can get some good plus money on Holloway at plus 205. Like, I think he does get the TKO. So that would be the prop I would choose. I think low likelihood of a Yair Rodriguez upset. It would take some crazy strike, which he is capable of, but extremely unlikely he does it to Max Holloway. Max for the win. Best value is touching that prop knockout line. Straight bet. Not all that great. Minus 624. Not good at all, to be honest with you. So definitely probably a prop type of play for the main event. Now the next of our locks of the night. I really like Mark Jacasey against Rafael Alves early. Minus 181, plus 167. I like Alves as a decent favorite here. Not super widespread. Not a terrible money line play. You could also potentially touch over 2.5, minus 170. Maybe. I do think fight goes the distance. That's minus 150. But of course, the fight game, crazy things could happen. Big shots could land. Alves, not a bad striker, but I don't think he's going to have that great of an ability to close distance on Jacasey. Jacasey's more of a guy that wins decisions, outpointing his opponents. He's plus 150 for a win by decision. I do think Mark Jacasey gets it done. Plus 150 decision will be the prop to choose there. I am excited for this fight. Definitely look for Jacasey as a parlay addition as well. Now, the next of the UFC locks of the night. I will say I like Sean Woodson. Minus 312, plus 275. I think his striking should be able to pick apart Colin Anglin here. Of course, younger prospect could potentially let us down. And I mean, he did lose that fight a while back. The names of escaping me. Julian Erosa beat him. Julian Erosa is a long-time experienced vet. Anglin doesn't have that high-level experience. He's on par with Sean Woodson, 8-1 versus 8-2. I like Sean Woodson for the win. I think he can get a TKO or win a decision here. So betting-wise, as a straight favorite, minus 300, it would definitely be a parlay-type addition. I feel like Woodson decision is more likely, plus 125. Of course, he has a chance to land that knockout shot. It's plus 290 for it, though. But I think more likely we're going the full three with Woodson edging out a decision. I like Sean Woodson. I'll go decision here, but I personally don't love the prop in this matchup. The KO prop's a bit better. Plus 290 value there. So Sean Woodson definitely for the win. One of the locks and definitely a parlay addition too. And the next of the locks of the night, I like Big Ben Rothwell. And of course, he's an older guy, so I guess you could call him a lesser confident lock. But he's fighting Ajiro de Lima, who fought down at 205 before. I mean, he has a lot of mass on him at this point, but it's not all muscle. Rothwell is the naturally bigger, heavier, stronger man. The grappling of Rothwell should compete fine. I think the striking is above. Ben Rothwell minus 147, good money line play. Could see this fight going 3, but I could see Rothwell inside the distance. That's plus 200 value. Let's see what the best value would be. Rothwell by submission plus 420. Rothwell KO TKO plus 375. I mean, it's not like De Lima's going to be easy to tap out, but he has lost by submission before. If Rothwell can somehow get on top, his superior size, you could definitely lock in some type of choke from top position. Plus 420 for that. I like inside the distance more, so you cover yourself on both ends at plus 200. Thinking stoppage late by Ben Rothwell here. Could also go the distance. So, of course, the money line bet, I feel like, is where the money should really lie. Ben Rothwell for a win in this matchup. Now, the next lock of the night, it's women's MMA. So I'll have to warn you beforehand. Courtney Casey, Liana Jojua. I think Casey definitely gets it done. I like her win by decision. She's minus 200 as a favorite for a decision win for Courtney Casey, plus 115. So it's not great value. We're looking at an expected fight goes the distance here, plus 115. I do see Courtney Casey getting it done. Fight goes the distance, highly likely, minus 175. I do believe it does. I like Courtney Casey for the win here. Unlikely I see her getting a TKO. Maybe some weird arm bar could happen. That'd be plus 550, but just don't see a high possibility of it. So Courtney Casey win by decision. That matchup. This last one is going to be like a just on the borderline, I feel like, type of play more so, because I think the matchup is quite competitive between Felicia Spencer and Leah Letson, potentially, if Felicia can't get her to the floor. I believe she will. I believe she'll put forward pressure on Letson. She'll take all her best shots and pull off a win. Minus 274, though, so to bet it, I don't like it. I feel like submission will be the pick, but we could see ground and pound. Spencer KO TKO, big money, plus 900, plus 220 for inside the distance. Spencer wins by submission, plus 300. I don't love the props here. I don't love the bet here. It's not my favorite bet, quote unquote, lock. It's truly the bottom list of the locks, but like Spencer, from what I've seen of the styles on paper, she should definitely win this fight, but she has let us down before. But let's jump to Bellator. Make sure you guys smash that like button as we go to the Bellator locks of the night. First one, the most obvious one, and honestly, there's a lot of ugly lines here. That's forewarning for Bellator here. Justino, Chris Cyborg, minus freaking crazy amounts, 2,000. Minus 5,000. That's definitely not meant to be a plus 5,000 for Cyborg. That would be insane. You could get rich off that because throw the house at it. Sinead Kavanaugh plus 1,955. Huge underdog for good reason. Let's see what we can do. Cyborg wins. KO TKO minus 235. Inside the distance minus 735. Pick the round. Plus 575 for round 3, plus 300 for round 2, plus 115 for round 1. I feel like we can end up getting into the second round in this fight. Over 1.5 is plus money, plus 135. I like Cyborg, but there's no money to make on the bet. You could go out there and starch Kavanaugh early, which is why, obviously, they're favoring minus 145, under 1.5. But we've seen Cyborg go later in recent fights. If she takes her time with Kavanaugh and somehow Kavanaugh's able to last, I worry she won't. Could be plus 135 money for over 1.5. Justino submission, plus 225. I mean, she could somehow surprise us with a sub, but probably takedowns and ground and pound. Definitely Cyborg for the win, but betting-wise, not insane value here on anything that you touch, maybe besides that over 1.5 if it did come to fruition. Now, the next of the locks of the night for Bellator, it's like Cody Law is a lock, but the value of the bet is atrocious there. He's similar value to Chris Cyborg, minus 4,000, minus 1,800. Is there any value? Let's see. Law inside the distance, minus 45. Dude. Under 1.5, minus 195. Don't touch the lines here for Law. I think it would be risky to bet on these lesser experienced guys. Roman Falardo, though, I am highly confident he beats up Robert Turnquest here. Unfortunately, they only have inside the distance, and that's minus 320. I wish they had knockout, and maybe we could get it a little bit better. Under 1.5, minus 180. It's one of those, these are like the locks where it's dangerous to play any of the prop lines because of how massive favorite status they are. Jordan Newman, Shane O'Shea. I'm not feeling as much confidence. I mean, Shane O'Shea has some fights. We can call him a lock. Maybe this would be the one that goes over the 1.5. That's minus 140. I think that does. That would be the only bet out of those few locks that I'm liking. The Bellator card is not a great betting one here for locks. I also like Aaron Pico. I do think he gets it done. That could be a decent value play. Pico wins by KO TKO plus 180. Pico wins inside the distance minus 105. Pico submission plus 550. I like KO TKO more so. Plus 180 Aaron Pico KO TKO. That's a good lock of the night play that you could potentially do here. I feel like you got to be cautious. I mean, this other one is another lock, but the odds are atrocious. If it was minus 150, it's a different ball game. I think Arlene Blencow definitely beats Pam Sorensen here. There's no value on the lines. I think she wins a decision. Blencow win by decision is minus 130. I don't like touching women's MMA deeply in general. Now add that tag, not worth a go at. But we will talk some dogs with Bellator after we jump back to the UFC, because that's where there's going to be some interest. Let's go to UFC. Let's talk UFC underdogs that I am liking and close money dogs too, because we do have some pick'ems fights. Now, the dog of the night, Julio Arce, the first. I feel like he can beat Song Yadong here. He's been in there against good competition. He's sitting at plus 121 best value. Not bad. Fight is definitely closed in. A lot of people have thrown down on Arce. I feel like Arce wins by decision. Plus 330 would be the likely method of victory, though Yadong has been gifted potential controversial decision in the past. I do think Arce beats him. Plus 330. Julio Arce beats the 23-year-old Song Yadong. I think experience is a real factor here. And having fought, I mean, Yadong has fought good competition too, but years of fighting, I feel like Arce has the crisp technique to outpoint Yadong in a competitive decision. So I like Arce plus money. Arce wins by decision plus 330. That's a solid play there for Julio Arce. I like that one a lot, actually, as an underdog. And straight dog play is never a bad idea either. Now, another dog of the night. This one, worrisome dog, I'm going to call him. Joel Alvarez, Thiago Moises. The more I talk about this fight, the closer we get to it, the more I am worried of Alvarez. But he's still great plus money. He has a lot of physical advantages over Thiago. Joel Alvarez could be really good. We'll see. Plus 218. I think it's a solid dog play, but don't go crazy with it. It's not a lock of the week. Alvarez wins by submission plus 850. That'd be nuts, but I mean, could you imagine he pulled it off? That plus 850 money is crazy. Alvarez just to win would be what I'd touch if I was actually throwing like a good portion at it. But if you want to just Hail Mary, definitely that sub prop. Alvarez wins by decision. Let's see what that is at, plus 470. I'd rather just touch the plus 200 line money line or sprinkle prop the Hail Mary of the submission here. And the next one, it's close money. Kenley Zachuku Daun Jong. I have Zachuku for the win. He is plus, so he is an underdog. Plus 105, best value. I like Zachuku, KO TKO. Let's see, we might have to jump to best fight odds for this one. We do, if they have it. Zachuku, KO TKO, ranging from plus 225 for Zachuku, KO TKO. I like that tag. That's not a bad one there. And I feel like he does win this bout by KO TKO late. Let's see Zachuku third round. Zachuku wins in round 3. Plus 1,000. Slight Hail Mary you could play there with a small amount. And then obviously you could put more so on that KO TKO prop plus 225. I feel like that's how Zachuku gets it done. He is plus money if you wanted to just play him straight, but Unjung's not an easy fight. Potential over 1.5. That's minus 160. I think that's actually pretty likely in this fight. Unjung potentially wrestling up, clinching. He's got to be cautious from range. And Zachuku awkward, but real power in the hands that could hurt Unjung. So I'm liking minus 160, over 1.5, but I really love Kenley Zachuku, KO TKO, or just the straight money line underdog play. And the next dog of the night, I believe we have one final underdog. Not mistaken. Actually, we might have ran through all the dogs. Yeah, Zachuku, underdog. Oh, no, we didn't. What am I talking about? It's women's MMA, of course. So it's the most cautious you have to be. You have to be very concerned and cautious with Andrea KGB Lee. I think could win against Cynthia Calvillo, but lower confidence than the rest. Lowest confidence of all the plays we mentioned. I mean, I personally think I'd have more confidence towards Baeza getting a W, even though he's slight favorite status here. Definitely Lee is in for a tricky fight. But I feel like she could edge it out by a smidge. Plus 115. I worry about the takedown defense, though, so personally not going to be touching this line. Fight goes a distance, minus 240. Calvillo wins by decision, plus 140. Lee wins by decision, plus 200. I don't like the bet here, but I do have Lee. It's a nerve-wracking fight. It's too close for comfort to throw anything substantial at. Andrea Lee, potential dog, but a risky one. Now let's go to Bellator Dogs. Smash that like button. Let's talk about some underdogs in Bellator. Now, I feel like the first one we have to talk about is the one to be most excited about. Steve Murray, Raheem Cleveland. I'm picking Raheem. I'm going with the dog here. I think that he can get the knockout. You have a sneaky, powerful striker. I mean, not even sneaky power. It's evident power. Nasty kicking game. Big dude. High-level experience. Steve Murray's stiff. His head doesn't move a ton. If Cleveland can land any significant strikes, I think he could put Murray to the floor and sleep him here. Ground and pound stoppage. I think he puts him out. Raheem Cleveland, KO TKO. He's a plus 559 dog. I like Cleveland, KO TKO. That value, plus 800. That's a decent play right there. Prop play, plus 800. Good value. Raheem Cleveland, underdog, plus 559 straight, around the plus 500 range. I'm loving it. I think he can upset Steve Murray in this fight. Now, the next of the Bellator underdogs that I'm really liking here, I think Desiree Yanez has a shot to put it on Bruna Ellen, win a decision. She's plus 166. Women's MMA don't love the bet nearly as much. Yanez wins a decision, plus 255. The solid return rate. I think she does win by decision here. I think this fight definitely does go the distance. That's minus 290. Those are the dogs of the week. We'll talk about one fight that just got added. It's Moldy Reese fighting. We're going to have to pull up Bellator. Bellator 271's Tapology. We'll talk about this fight real quick. Waldo Acosta versus Moldy Reese. Let's see if we have any odds for this fight. Waldo Acosta, Moldy Reese. Minus 265 Acosta. I feel like Acosta has a high likelihood of winning. Maybe worth a play KO TKO when it drops. We'll talk about it in the weigh-in recap. Right now, it's not here. We don't have it yet. But just something to mention. I think Acosta's boxing could sleep to Reese, but not a super confident fight. It's going to have to be good value for us, and we'll see how those fighters look on the scales. We'll do a full breakdown for it when the weigh-ins come out tomorrow for the weigh-in recap show. Make sure to tune into that. Overall, though, some decent bets you can make on both cards straight. I think Miguel Baeza, Chaos Williams is going to be an absolutely sick fight. As a fan of Baeza, maybe you play it. Could go over 1.5. I like minus 163 for that. I do think likelihood is higher of it going over 1.5 here. Let's see, is there any other potential value style plays? So unfortunate we lost Roman Dolidze and Kyle Dawkins. I was super excited to see Kyle Dawkins back in action so quick, but unfortunately that fight's off. Should be a pretty good week of fights, Friday and Saturday, so back-to-back events. I do want to send you guys off with the parlay, though. Of course, we have to talk a potential cross parlay to play. All right, we'll talk about like the lockiest of the lock parlays. I'm going to use the minus 1800 tag to make it a little more likable, adding Cyborg in there, and then you'll put it in with Max Holloway, minus 495. Let's see. Who else could we add in here to give us some spice? Because this is disgusting odds right now. Not a good look. Mark Jacasey, minus 120. So bad, though. So bad. Big Ben, plus 100. That's a decent play. You add Jacasey, plus 206. Anybody else from Bellator that I want to bring on my line? Got to be cautious with Bellator, especially these minus 1000s. Like, even playing Cyborg, I don't love it. Maybe you play with Aaron Pico, plus 293. Ugly cross parlay that I believe has a high likelihood of coming through, but it's ugly for having 5 fights. You're only getting plus 293. I don't love it. Feel confident about it, though. I'd rather do some more interesting cross parlay. Really, the UFC parlay would be more so the way to go here. The Bellator lines are just not great. I mean, if you felt, I do think Fortune wins, but he's in for a fight. If Fortune did win, this is a hypothetical, not saying to go out and play this one. Maybe you go Fortune, Holloway. You don't want to have in too many heavyweights, so you probably are like, I already got Fortune. I don't want to add in another big man. We'll go Jacasey plus 163 for that one there. Isn't absolutely awful, but if you take Max out, you're still plus 131, and you got one less fight to worry about. But it's Max Holloway, and I think there's a high likelihood he gets the W. There's really not beautiful betting spots for cross parlays with the Bellator cards unless you are one of those people that wants to go crazy and add in lesser experienced guys like a Falardo or whatnot. Like if you went Falardo, Cyborg, Aaron Pico, and then you jump to UFC, you went Max Holloway, you got to be crazy for this. You got to be a little bit off the walls. Sean Woodson, Mark Jacasey. You want to add in Zachuku, but that'd be danger zone. You said I want Big Ben. Plus 451. You add in all those favorites, which I do think come through. Cody Law's another one that should win, but the odds are just not worth the price tag. The Bellator fights to bet on really would be like a Fortune or Pico bet. Really, those two together, minus 106. The UFC standalone, you have to add in Big Money Max. Then maybe you parlay it up with Arce as a dog, plus 139. I like that more so. Maybe you like Zachuku, plus 128, especially if it's early in the night. And then you can replay something else if somehow Zachuku ends up losing the bout. John Woodson, I really feel like gets it done. Julio Arce, great underdog, plus 211. Let's say we had Big Ben. There we go. Zachuku, plus 935. You added in two underdogs, and this is just straight UFC. Going back to Bellator, of course, Cyborg, I expect. But look at that, 35 to 99. Like, it's not worth that added risk, I feel like. But if you, Cyborg should run through, maybe add in Pico, plus 1305. These are Hail Marys. What I recommend, two fighter parlays. If I had to pick a Bellator fighter, you have to, without a doubt, and it's not going to be these disgusting favorites. I would say give me Tyrell or Aaron Pico or Aaron Pico, and you mix that in with a lesser bad money favorite. Boom, Rothwell, Casey, Sean Woodson, plus 542. You can miss and match that, especially if you go more two-fighter. You go Tyrell Fortune, Jacasey, Tyrell Fortune, Woodson, Tyrell Fortune, Rothwell, if you want to go heavyweight, Aaron Pico, and then the same guys mixed up. Be cautious with these fights. I mean, you can play Felicia, and then Felicia lets you down hugely. It's happened before with Felicia Spencer. Same worry about Courtney Casey. These girls, high likelihood of winning. The women's MMA thing is always the most risky because sometimes fights don't go as planned. If you do added those two ladies in, you went crazy. You said, I'm going nuts for my play this week, plus 1,104. But at this point, we're just playing lottery ticket plays. 2 3-fighter parlays max. Some solid prop bets. I hope you guys enjoyed this week's Best MMA Bets. Was fun as always. Smash that like button. Subscribe if you're new. Turn those post notifications on so you do not miss a video. Turn them to all so you see everything. Dropping tons of content. Stay tuned. Keep it locked in, MMA experts. Much love, and I will see you all in the next video. Peace, guys.